welcome everyone to the June Corporate Alliance call, quarterly call. This is Nicole Boyce, and I'll be stepping in for Craig today just to help kind of usher forward the meeting. We have a jam-packed agenda, as you will see shortly. But as always, I'd like to welcome Seth to join us in just kicking off this call with our mission and, level setting or grounding the discussions moving forward around our mission, vision, and goals. Seth?
Thank you, Nicole. Good morning, everybody. This is Seth Fritz. I am on the corporate engagement team for Global Genes. Just to ground us in the mission, as we always like to do before all of our calls, the mission of Global Genes is to connect, empower, and inspire the rare disease community. And our vision is a globally connected community equipped to eliminate the challenges of rare diseases.
Next slide.
So we have a jam-packed agenda today, as Nicole mentioned. So I won't go through this point by point, but you'll see some very high level here, and then we'll have various members of our team going into the different aspects as we progress through the agenda. Next slide. So as we all know in the rare disease community, patients are really responsible for a lot more. This isn't, prostate cancer or cardiac disease where there's a tremendous amount of resources. In the rare disease community, we have a unique set of challenges, beginning with living with life-limiting conditions and chronic conditions, needing to be architects for our future health. And, for some of us, it may become an interest in partnering and driving treatments. But regardless, there's a certain level of activation that happens. And so with that, going into our next slide, really at the core of what Global Genes, what we do is we focus on providing our education, our connection, and resources around these kind of key elements along our what we call our arrow slide. And it begins with the diagnosis and living with a life-altering condition through, potentially starting a nonprofit and ending with patients as biotech entrepreneurs. And all of the tools and the resources and the connections that we work on in collaboration with you are really, this is at the core of what we do, and it's thanks to the partnership that we have with each of you on the phone that helps to make that mission possible. And so I'll hand it off to my colleague. Oh, I'm sorry, I have one more. So one of the critical components of what we do at Global Genes is we want to encourage patient involvement in the development of different products. And so beginning with basic research and helping things like funding, incorporating patients into funding basic science or connecting patients to disease experts through getting patients integrally involved in, the discovery and preclinical, starting to look at meaningful clinical endpoints. As we start moving into clinical, we want to get those patients really wrapped into the development of these trials. And, one of the buzzwords that often comes about is incorporating the patient voice, but we need to look a lot deeper than that now. It's not just about incorporating the voice. It's about really wrapping the patients into the development of these products, because they're ultimately the people that are going to be, using these drugs. And so the patients, the caregivers, we need to integrally involve them in this process. So all the way from basic research all the way through commercialization, we want to incorporate those patients into each aspect of that. And, we have a lot of great partners on the phone that we can tap into for ideas of how they do it, and we've got some great ideas, and we always want to be a trusted resource to help that process along. And so always encourage that, and if anyone has any questions about how to do that, by all means let us know, because we want to be a trusted member of that community.
Kathy, you're up.
Great. Thanks, Seth, for that intro, and Nicole. This is Kathy O'Connor, and I'm on the corporate engagement team with Seth. And I just wanted to take a quick moment on behalf of the entire Global Genes team to welcome our newest Corporate Alliance members. We're excited to have Acer Therapeutics, AvroBio, Atlantic Research Group, BridgeBio, Continuum Clinical, Enzavant, GenSight, Sobi, and Spark all join the team. So welcome again. We really value your commitment to our mission and look forward to working with you more closely. And with that, I will turn it over to Ashley and Molly, who are going to give some updates on our programs for you.
Thanks, Kathy. Hi, everyone. Many of you may have worked with me or know me, but my name is Ashley Yee. I'm the Senior Manager in Patient Engagement. I help run some of our education programs. I just wanted to provide a couple updates on some of our really great education initiatives. One of them is Rare University. I know we've been talking about Rare U for quite some time now, but we're very excited that after 2 years of really getting it off the ground, our Rare University is live at rareuniversity.com. Our first course on drug development is already available. Again, this is a free resource for our community, so we really encourage our Corporate Alliance members to check it out and provide any feedback to us. We are also starting to work on our next course, Genetics 101. It is in development right now, and it should be ready for viewing starting August 2018. And so with that, I'm asking if any Corporate Alliance members are interested in beta testing the course and to provide feedback before we launch to the public, to contact me at rareuniversity@globalgenes.org if you're interested in helping us in a couple months. We are also getting ready to plan our toolkits and webinars for the year 2019. We have already surveyed our Foundation Alliance, and some of their top suggestions were fundraising, organization and capacity development, registries, and funding and starting research. But of course, we'd love to hear from our Corporate Alliance members as well, and we ask that if you have any suggestions of topics or anything you would like Global Genes to produce or see us produce, if you can submit those suggestions to Kathy or Seth, that would be great. And our team will review both from the Foundation and Corporate Alliances and see what we can put in the queue for 2019. And I will pass it off to Molly for some updates on Denim Dash.
Hi, good morning. My name is Molly McLaughlin. I'm the new Meetings and Event Manager here at Global Genes. I just wanted to introduce the Denim Dash. It's our 4th annual that we're going to be putting on. The race officially starts on July 4th, and it's running through September 3rd. We do have a local dash that we're going to host here at our office on August 23rd. And I would like to also thank Pfizer, who had reached out and who's already made a team, and there's over 8 participants already on the team, and we wanted to thank you so much for your support in that. And we're looking forward to seeing some more teams come through. Essentially, the dash is a race or walk or swim, anything that you want to do as a group for 3 miles that supports Global Genes. There's 2 ways that you can get involved. Your organization can make their own team, or you as an individual can make a team and have friends, family join and fundraise that way, or you can simply make donations to a team that's already created or do a general donation. If you have any questions about that, you can reach out to myself or Kathy and Seth, and they can send me your information, but I'm happy to help, and we're really looking forward to making the 4th one the best one.
Just a quick note for everyone on the call, the event is one of the few actual fundraisers that Global Genes does, but I believe that and if you want to just quickly touch on it, Molly, about where the money goes and how nonprofits and other rare disease organizations can actually also raise money for their organization as well.
Yes, so we have, so if you're a Foundation Alliance member, what we've done is if that team raises $1,000 or more, we're giving back to them 50% of those funds to go back to their organizations. So if they're Foundation Alliance members and they do that, they get that 50% split.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. Next slide. All right, so then I would love to introduce Amy Miller, the CEO of Child Neurology Foundation, a very important partner of ours, to kind of share one of the collaborations that we're working on around the Patient Summit.
Thanks, Nicole. Hello, everyone. Great to be here with you. The Foundation is very excited this year to partner with Global Genes in hosting a pre-conference to their Patient Advocacy Summit, which is called Peer Support Boot Camp, and it'll be on Tuesday, October 2nd from 11A to 4P. And this is really in response to a tremendous need that we heard from the community. As many of you know, peer support is not a new model, but it's a growing one that has yet to really be seen as legitimate in helping caregivers live with and care for their loved one that's living with a rare condition. So the Foundation a couple of years ago started a family support and empowerment program. We've received PCORI funding that led to a national needs assessment that said, you know, this is really a model that caregivers want and need access to, but they are also asking for further training in how to provide that peer support. So this boot camp will provide very practical training on techniques of peer support. We'll provide research that really helps to legitimize advocacy groups building their own peer support programs, and then finally really helping various disease state peer support programs connect with each other. And so we're thrilled to be launching that today. I'll let you know that the first 10 days that we've opened it up, we already have 20 applicants for the 30 slots. So again, we're having some great momentum behind it. I'd also really like to acknowledge and thank the corporate partners that have stepped up to support this specific program, and those would be Horizon, Mallinckrodt, Lundbeck, Greenwich Bioscience, and UCB. If you have any other questions about it or want some more information, please visit our website, childneurologyfoundation.org/FSEP, or you can always email me and I'll respond directly. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Amy. All right, next up, Meredith Kegel, our Director of Patient Engagement. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole, and welcome everyone. As Nicole said, this is Meredith Kegel, and I'm with Patient Engagement. I want to introduce a new program or session that we're doing at the summit this year. We have found that attendance at the summit for first-timers can be a bit overwhelming. There's a lot of information and opportunities during the 2 days of the summit. And so this new pre-event orientation is going to help first-time attendees navigate their summit and maximize their experience. Anyone who indicates when they register for the summit that this is their first time will be receiving an invitation, an email from Global Genes inviting them to participate in this session the day before. They will be given information on everything from, housekeeping and how to get to the meals on time and using the new networking partnering software, to which sessions may be best available for where they are in the rare disease community. Along with that, towards the end of the freshman orientation, we'll be partnering individuals who have indicated, first-time attendees, that they'd like to be paired with a seasoned summit attendee. They'll have some time to sit down with them on site and talk about their experience, receive their guidance on how to maximize their time. We'll also be asking those advisors to just check in with their freshmen at least once during the summit via text, maybe meet them for a coffee one day, just see how they're doing, if they have any questions. We are looking for more advisors. If you have attended the summit before and are available for a couple of hours the day before the summit starts on October 2nd, we would love for you to be part of that. You can contact us at Global Genes, Meredith C. at globalgenes.org, and let me know, and we would love to make that possible for you if you happen to be a first-time attendee, and we would love to partner you with an advisor as well. We're looking forward to a great new addition to the summit. Thank you.
Thanks, Meredith. All right, next up is Maureen MacArthur-Hart, who, as many of you know, has been very instrumental in helping create and bring forward some amazing agendas over the last several years, and this one is probably the best yet. So Maureen is going to give us a little overview of what to expect at the summit this year.
Great, thank you.
Maureen?
And hello, everybody. Thank you so much, Nicole. And as Nicole said, this year the summit is just going to be absolutely fantastic. We're all very excited about it. It is our 7th annual summit. The main part of the summit will be October 3rd and October 4th, Wednesday through Thursday. I'd like to just give you, as Nicole mentioned, a real brief overview. We do have a wonderful, amazing keynote speaker, Rachel Callender, who is going to be talking on rising above using empowering language in healthcare. Rachel is a parent advocate, an artist. She's also a very inspiring management trainer and TEDx speaker. And her focus is really on trying to facilitate relationships between healthcare professionals and patients and parents, focusing on this idea that words that healthcare professionals use matter. So even though healthcare professionals are an amazing, tremendous resource, sometimes the words and the framing that are used in discussing diagnosis and treatment options really leave behind some confusion, some frustration, and perhaps even some hurt. So inspired by her own daughter, Edie, who had 2 different chromosomal differences, she engages now with healthcare professionals to really challenge the deficit language that can be used and try and direct them towards effective and empowering language that can be used with patients and parents. Next slide. And we also will be leading off to really frame the summit with our MSAB, Medical Scientific and Advisory Board, present session. And this year we're focusing on patients driving advances from research to therapy, with the framing that patients and families have a very unique advantage from their own very firsthand knowledge that can help focus research on needed and valued questions and outcomes. Patients and families have a tremendous sense of urgency, and so really can and should be very powerful partners and drivers in research. And we have a wonderful lineup led by Anthony Philippakis, who's a member of our MSAB, of patients and parents who are pushing forward on research and even often forming companies, which I'll get back to in a little bit. We have a special session this year that focuses on that as well. Next slide. So our summit tracks this year really we tried to mirror the patient responsibilities landscape slide, or the arrow slide, as you may have heard it referred to. We have 4 tracks. And they're organized along a pathway of experiences for patients and caregivers. So track 1 is living with a life-altering condition, sponsored by Horizon, where we're focusing on diagnosis, adapting, and then ultimately flourishing. Track 2 is architecting your disease community, where we're focusing on how to organize and then how to grow, and ultimately how to sustain and adapt your community. Track 3, Patients as Partners and Drivers, is sponsored by Shire. That's focused on discovering and then targeting efforts and then building on advances in therapeutic developments. And then finally, track 4 is the Science and Technology Innovation, sponsored by PRA Health Sciences. And this covers issues about building on past modalities for science and technology, new approaches for discovery, as well as new approaches for therapeutics. And I'd also like to take an opportunity to thank all of our sponsors for the summit. We appreciate it. We couldn't do it without you. For more information, we have a website right there on the slide, globalgenes.org/2018 summit. And then I think I'm still up to speaking about the Entrepreneurial Readiness Boot Camp. Nicole, did you want to introduce both of these real fast?
Well, no, you can. I just want to point out one thing, because I get so giddy with excitement when I was hearing you talk about the summit. So for everyone on the call, those that have been involved for a long time and those that are new, what I hope is really clear in what we're sharing is, we have built this incredible time in our community for people to come together and learn and engage, and it continues to grow and evolve. We have to be careful, because we just want to make sure that all of those patients, this is the largest patient summit on the planet currently, and we still have a long way to go. But with that growth, we also want to make sure that we don't lose that specialness that's always been kind of that family feeling of support and love that has made the Global Genes event so important. So with this growth and with, the increase in people, we're still trying to ensure that we make it comfortable and inviting and engaging for every single person that steps foot on property with us and spends their week with us. So, and then as you will note, Maureen mentioned it, everything that we are doing, we're building along that arrow slide, that continuum, to ensure that we can bring value to patients as, where they're at today, and if in fact they decide that they want to move forward and, continue to grow their engagement, involvement, or differentiate what they're doing within the rare disease community. And so as true partners and collaborators, we try to bring and connect and collaborate with experts to bring some of that additional value to everything that we do, resources, tools, and events like this. So having said that, please, Maureen, please continue with the Entrepreneurial Readiness Bootcamp.
Right. So we are very excited about a new effort that we're doing this year. As Nicole mentioned, the Entrepreneurial Readiness Bootcamp. And this is really brought about by, again, patients really beginning to move forward and be drivers, not just partners, not just resources, but drivers for pushing forward on research and therapy development. So this is going to be a boot camp, an all-day-long boot camp on Thursday, October 4th, designed for patient advocates who are funding rare disease research and are really looking on ways to build a stronger structure around their efforts and an entrepreneurial structure. This is led by Yale Weiss and Ultragenics and Walt Kautoniak with Third Rock Ventures. And we're looking for patient advocates that can answer affirmatively that they're actively funding rare disease research, that they have a plan or are currently trying to take the research into therapeutic discovery and development. And as part of that, they have considered whether creating a company would be a pathway that would be valuable for this. And we would greatly appreciate if you have any attendee suggestions, if you could forward that to us. We do have an application process for this, as we are trying to ensure that the advocates who attend are ready to really maximize the information and maximize the resources that they will get in participating in this. It is all day, and we request that the advocates participate all day. And so it'll be a relatively small, probably somewhere around 30 to 40 people session that's ongoing on Thursday, October 4th. If I can have the next slide. Just a quick look at the agenda. In the morning, they'll be focusing on why start a company, when is the time right. So what are the unique opportunities and challenges? When can you identify that the science is ready? What goes into developing a multi-year plan, and how do you raise money? And the second session in the afternoon would be making it happen. So really focused on the practicalities of building a team, partnering with biopharmaceutical companies, and an overview and in-depth discussion of corporate and legal fundamentals. And as you can see, the speakers are just absolutely fantastic. Walt and Yale have done a wonderful job in bringing in a lot of different perspectives and a lot of really amazing entrepreneurs within the rare disease community. And so we're very excited about this. And again, if you have any ideas about people who might benefit from this, please let us know. We will be putting together a landing page on our website that will have some more information about this. And so that will be complete next week. We'll send out that information to everybody. And if you could forward it to your networks as well, that would be fantastic.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Again, just another exciting addition. So with that, as many of you know, you heard last year when we rolled out our strategic plan that we have some focus and desire to better support some of the global community in regions that haven't really had a lot of coordination kind of, general support from other patient advocacy orgs. And so by request of some patient advocates, we decided to come together and dip our toe in creating a global advocacy leadership symposium that's going to exist to do two things. It's really going to help, and prior to this, we've actually rolled out or asked participants to answer a needs assessment about their regional challenges and needs, et cetera. But the goals really are to not only bring together those leaders, not so much on the policy framework side. We know that our friends at Readiness have done a really great job kind of building that structure in different regions around the world. But this is really coming at it from kind of, a grassroots advocacy support side, much like where Global Genes plays. And so the purpose is really to bring individuals together that will not only help inform Global Genes' future global efforts, but also to see and help inform what we as a community need to do to come together to share and support each other to grow and build a successful community regardless of where, patients reside. So we reached out to many of you, and we reached out to our Foundation Alliance partners, and our goal was 20 individuals. We're providing travel stipends for them to attend so that they can come from all the places that you see around the globe. We sold out, I think, within a week and a half, where we met our goals of 20, well, we actually have 22, and you can see the regions where they're coming from. So next steps for us, we have the needs assessment results in. Dr. Groff, formerly head of the NIH Office of Rare Disease Research, and Barbara Wubbles, formerly head of patient advocacy at Adventis, and obviously an industry advocate for patients for several years, now retired, are coming in to really help shape the conversation and the day and the agenda. So we have a sketch of the agenda, but we will be sharing some case studies and best practices around collaboration, global collaborations, both within a specific disease community, but also a collaborative of something that's grown that has built a broader effort within a region. So how can different disease communities connect and help create support efforts for, the broader community in their region. And so we're finalizing the flow of the day and how that's going to look, and then we'll make sure and let everyone know what that looks like. But we're grateful for the support that we've received so far from some of you on the call. We will have a landing page on our site that will give a little more information about this. But again, this is a meeting that now is closed. We will be moving forward with the 22 attendees, and we will have an output and a follow-up, and next steps that come from this, not only from what can Global Genes do to be a better supportive partner, but, there'll be lessons learned from us convening this group of advocacy leaders and future leaders. Next slide. All right, next up. So many of you have heard, and I'm going to introduce my partner, Amy Miller, on this. So Craig Martin, as a board member, and also as a Corporate Alliance chair. Wendy White, who many of you know, also a board chair, and Amy Miller have been kind of part of the coordinating committee for this very important event that kind of came out of last year's Corporate Alliance meeting, and some of the conversations that we've been having with many of you and patient advocates throughout, the end of last year and the start of 2018. For those of you that have agreed to help support this, we really appreciate it, and we can get to who those people are. But we want to give you kind of an update on what we've called Pricing and Access to Critical Therapy Summit. And I'm going to introduce or let Amy kind of jump in and give you all an update as to, kind of where we're at with the research, with the agenda creation that we're very excited about, and kind of what's ahead for the planning for this very important meeting. Amy?
Sure. Thanks, Nicole. So to arc back to what Nicole was saying, it was a year ago, or almost a year ago, when I was a guest at your all's Corporate Alliance meeting, and there was some conversation about if advocacy groups should start putting out policy statements regarding access and drug pricing. And the feedback that you all provided was, I don't really know if that's the way to go, but it would sure be helpful to have a forum for pharmaceutical companies, biotech, and advocacy groups to talk. And so sitting back in the back of the room hearing that with my hat as the CEO of the Child Neurology Foundation, I thought that was a pretty impressive feedback that you all gave Global Genes, but thought that there could actually be some other stakeholder groups that were missing from that proposal. And that's really when the foundation approached Global Genes with the idea of co-convening between both of our corporate bodies. So our corporate advisory board and you all as the Corporate Alliance, we're sharing one joint space on October 5th to bring together the largest multi-stakeholder group that's ever been convened around the conversation, not really on pricing, but on value and access to therapy. And so within that group, we are expecting between 150 and 200 participants representing not only patients, but physicians, industry, as well as payers. We've had a tremendous response from other partnering organizations, so we will have representation from the Child Neurology Society, the American Academy of Neurology, the American Academy of Pediatrics, for example. And the goal really is to not just convene multi-stakeholders together, but to allow for a discussion to take place where patients are in the center of the conversation regarding value and access to therapy. And we'll be presenting via a commissioned research team at Indiana University some brand new research that's being done to really ascertain if we can build some cost-effectiveness models that reflect the values of these various stakeholders. Can we all win when we place the patient in the center? So you will all be getting more and more information about this research project. Some of you will be asked to actually participate in it. There's a quantitative as well as a qualitative strategy to it. It will be first presented at the October 5th meeting. There's discussion about if there needs to be a subsequent publication really to get this out there, because as we all know, these conversations are happening, but they're happening in silos, or they're happening not with patients and even clinicians being thought of in the middle. So this will be a new forum to do that. We'll also be bringing in an outside facilitator to make sure that this is a conversation. It's not going to be just a set of presentations that you're sitting at and being talked to. But again, this is an opportunity for a facilitated multi-stakeholder forum to really respond as a shared community about where there's convergence and divergence on this issue. So stay tuned, much more to come, and it is an invite-only event, so as a member of Corporate Alliance, you will be getting specific invites. And I think probably, Nicole, you might want to talk a little bit more. You're heading up the logistics end of it,
sure,
of what that means. But we're very excited to be partnering with Global Genes on this important discussion.
Thanks, Amy. Yep, so as a Corporate Alliance member, all of you will receive 2 invitations to attend, and you'll have a special code, which you'll likely get by the end of next week. For those people that are not Corporate Alliance or CAB advisors, there's an opportunity for others to attend as well, but there will be a fee for those that are not members. If, as a Corporate Alliance or CAB member, you're interested in having additional people attend, there will be an additional fee unless you've raised your hand to help as a funder of the research and some of the activities that are happening, then you'll get additional registrations. We will be inviting our Patient Foundation Alliance members. We will be inviting, as Amy suggested, other stakeholders, so the room will be full with all stakeholders And we have a laundry list of individuals from some of the framework organizations, from government, et cetera, that we just really want to be at the table. And again, you know, we've had a lot of conversations with many of you about the intention of this event. And in true Global Genes and Child Neurology Foundation fashion, we want to assure everyone that this will not be a debate. This is going to be a very productive conversation with the intention of problem solving some of these issues around value. And like Amy said, about bringing kind of the patient into the center of identifying, you know, or problem solving some of these challenges. And we will be intentional about, you know, who we have on stage and who we have participating, so that, you know, we can move forward with some really amazing feedback and help inform this kind of national discussion, you know, in a really meaningful way. And so again, we're very excited about this opportunity, and all the conversations that we're having with all of you, you know, are continuing to help inform what we intend to be a really productive and meaningful event in October. So stay tuned for more, and we'll be following up with all of you with your codes to participate, and we'll be available for any other questions. All right, next slide. Excellent. So last year, as part of our strategic planning, we also shared a little bit about areas that we will be working to invest in, and I will be moving forward personally and committed to helping bring in some funding outside of our ask of the industry to help grow and invest in Global Genes and some really important initiatives. So many of you have heard about the Rare Hub that's being built right now. It's probably one of the biggest investments that we've made at Global Genes outside of all the great people that are here. And we have some very, very aggressive goals with the intention of these investments really helping us support more patients in a greater way. And also with the global emphasis on kind of our focused efforts between now and 2020, this new digital hub and marketplace for information and resources and collaborations and will also take on a global aspect as well, with translations, et cetera, for different regions around the globe. Some of the information here from our Global Advocacy Leadership Symposium will help inform this strategy as well. In addition, we'll be growing or hoping to grow the amount of grants that we'll be able to give for our education and impact grants. We are in our 4th year. We will have doled out over $400,000 in impacting, you know, small patient groups and some that aren't so small with unique programs that they have difficulty funding, but that are very that are important to their organization as they move forward, you know, down that continuum. And, you know, we've provided funding in amounts anywhere from $500 to $15,000. And so we want to fill that bucket of money in a big way. And so that will be part of the strategy as well. And last but not least, you know, the Rare Concierge has been something that we've had kind of ongoing since day one in the background of Global Genes. And it's an incredible value and resource for people, many just kind of stopping in, new to rare disease. It's many caregivers and family members and people looking for help, support, guidance, connections, everything. And so we've been lucky to be working with an amazing group of genetic counselors that have helped be kind of our front end to the Rare Concierge program. So not only will this program grow and evolve, and we're working on collaborations and partnerships globally to help us support those patients wherever they reside around the globe, but we also are going to be investing in dedicated individuals on our team to help manage and grow this program. And so stay tuned for more, but again, another really important touch point for rare disease patients, and it's been a really meaningful part of Global Genes day-to-day and programming that, kind of we've been entrenched in since day one, but haven't promoted so much because we're actually afraid of how many people will actually be trying to access the service, and we haven't really been equipped for it to go live and go big. But our intentions are that we can change that. So next slide. Excellent. So I'm going to turn it over to Maureen real quick to give some updates from the Medical and Scientific Advisory Board, some great progress on some projects that we've been working on.
Yeah, thank you again, Nicole. So I'm going to be talking first about the rare self-identification tool that we've been working on. And the impetus for this project was the realization that there's an estimated 30 million, roughly, patients suffering from a rare disease just in the United States alone. But the rare disease community is much more compact than that. And so we wanted to come up with a way to help patients or caregivers identify that they are in fact part of the rare disease community. A lot of people may not know, they may have a diagnosis, but they may not realize they are actually part of the rare disease community. And so we wanted to develop a simple set of questions that could help rare patients and rare families identify themselves and recognize that there's this larger ecosystem of support, and to be recognized as a strong and valid tool throughout the community by all stakeholders. With our current progress, we developed a set of questions drawing primarily on past research on the rare disease experience in finding a diagnosis and going into clinical care. We then tested those questions with about 3,000 responses from non-rare disease patients and about 300 from rare disease patients in order to ascertain whether we were able to distinguish a difference in responses between those two groups. And I should say we are partnering with Engage Health and Lapidus Data on both getting the responses from rare patients and also on the analysis of the tool. And then we also partnered with PRA Health Sciences on getting the lion's share, almost all of the responses from non-rare disease, as well as several responses or many responses from rare disease patients. So we thank them just tremendously for their help on this project. We also had some genetic counselors from Ambry Genetics review those classifications of whether it was a rare disease patient or a non-rare disease patient, just to confirm. We did develop a statistical analysis plan. You can see there the layout, initial data analysis. There was a logistic regression model. That model was then tested, and we also have done some assessments of distributions. Next slide. And the exciting result is that with the preliminary results that we received on June 5th is that it does seem to work. We do actually seem to be able to differentiate between rare disease and non-rare disease patients. We are going to be doing a little bit of refinement potentially of the model, as well as going through the statistical analysis with our with a fine-tooth comb with our Medical and Scientific Advisory Board. But the initial results are that if the tool indicates a probable rare disease patient, the identification is correct about 98% of the time, which is just fantastic. Next slide. So our next steps, as I said, to review the statistical analysis with our MSAB, our Medical and Scientific Advisory Board, to ensure the model is optimized, and then develop a plan for our marketing and communication strategy by getting it out through social media, through medical societies, poster sessions, et cetera, with an aim to try and distribute this broadly in the first quarter of 2019, and to really make this a tool that people recognize as being able to help grow and connect rare disease patients. I know when Nicole speaks of this, she often references the mental health screening for depression, which of course is a diagnostic tool, so a little bit different. but that it has been, spread far and wide and really is helping people recognize that it's not something that they're just experiencing, that they're not alone in this. And that's exactly what we want to do for the rare disease community.
Awesome. All right. Thanks so much, Maureen. The last thing I'll say on the diagnostic tool, this actually was a brainstorm too that we had with Harry Leiter, who was a clinician by trade and at the time a chief marketing officer at Walgreens, and this was something that he had been involved in the mental health diagnostic set of questions that are now used by a lot of different clinicians. But we've seen these questions in articles in Good Housekeeping magazine and in the general media. And so when you think about our goals as an organization and as a community, what Maureen said earlier was, if between all of these umbrella organizations or broader organizations, we're touching less than 10% of the 30 million people in the U.S., that are actively engaged or coordinated and being supported, we have a long way to go. So, what we're trying to do is be creative about how we can help identify new patients where they likely already have a rare disease diagnosis like Tay-Sachs, but they might not realize that they're actually part of a larger community, which means a lot. It means they have access to other resources, that they might be open to meeting people with other diseases in their local community, because we know the power of sharing and how much is actually in common. So this will help open up and create more touch points for patients, to be inspired, to be educated, which then is a win-win for everyone. So this has been a super fun project. I'm glad that it's moving forward. So thanks again, Maureen. So real quick, I know that we've been just touching on the RareX project. So 2 years ago with our Medical and Scientific Advisory Board, we actually did a brainstorm on what could really game change the world for rare disease. And in those discussions and special sessions, we kind of came to the agreement that, and you've seen it in subsequent papers from, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, from Wellcome Trust. I think everyone's in agreement that data needs to be open and needs to be shared. But what if we could really create a place where patient-driven data is made available to any researchers around the world? And then how can we do better? How can we also ensure that we can remove obstacles for access to registries and testing, which would be a huge philanthropic play? What if we could have all of these really amazing things that we know need to happen kind of come to fruition, and come together? We could really game change the world. And so we've been talking to a lot of partners, and currently we have identified Chan Zuckerberg as a potential co-creator with the Broad Institute, with Sage Networks on the governance side, with multiple patient advocates that are also funding research to kind of try to help build this moonshot, RareX, the rare disease moonshot. We are currently building out a pilot. We have the good fortune of working with Broad Institute, who already has built the All of Us back end for the NIH's All of Us campaign, which is basically this idea, but on a very broad scale. We're looking at data from humanity. So the tech investment has already been there. We can do this in a streamlined way, but also have access to hundreds of other data scientists and tech experts to really help build what we know will be a game changer for rare disease communities around the world. So if you go to the next slide. So what we're finalizing right now is kind of this first pilot or phase one of this project. And so right now, between now and the end of the year, we're really looking at the platform development, the governance, all the things that are going to be important, not only on the patient sharing data side, but the data access side, and how is this going to work? Because we want patients to be involved throughout the process. So how will they be communicated to? What will that look like? And we will be recruiting. We already have 4 registries that are being part of this pilot. We're going to be recruiting 2 to 3 other patient communities for this pilot, including possibly 1 region and maybe 1 large currently open database or open registry from multiple patient organizations for the purpose of when we build out this kind of cloud environment, that all of these disparate data sets can plug and play into this kind of open network. So, and that's the big tech challenge that CZI is ready to kind of jump in and help tackle. So we look, we're still finalizing kind of the proposal that includes, like I said, a team of co-creators. We are looking to get the pilot off the ground by the end of this year, with the second phase in 2019, with the hope of rolling out in a big way this rare disease moonshot in 2019. I'm sorry, in 2020. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to share. But like I said, please feel free to ask, but this is ongoing. And as things become absolutely more finalized, we'll definitely have more to share as well. But exciting times. So I guess that's kind of it in a nutshell. Wow, I can't believe we got through everything before the top of the hour. So, I guess I would say, a big message. First of all, thank you to everyone. As we always talk about, everything that's happening in rare disease right now is really exciting. I just heard a statistic that there's 2,900 drugs in phase 3 development, 900 of them are gene therapies. Who would have ever thought we would be here right now in that position as a rare disease community? It's exciting. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done. Global Genes is honored to be a partner in this, and our vision and our goals to help ready the troops and patients to go out there and be partners, help de-risk early investment, help bring forward new therapies and treatments, help become educated and activated to be, the partners that we all want to be, that we all know that we need to be as patient advocates. We can usher forward more phenomenal growth and treatments and therapies and cures for this community, which is everyone's end game. So again, on behalf of everyone on our team, we're so grateful. Future dates, so the next Corporate Alliance call will be in December. That will end the year. It will be following the incredible summit and all the amazing activities that are happening. Please don't forget that normal in-person meeting is going to be, it will be changed to the PAX Summit, which you're all invited to. Stay tuned for registration information. Again, thank you to many of you. This isn't technically something that we're going to be, promoting sponsors of, but we all know the importance of helping ensure that we can move this forward. And so we're grateful to those that have decided to come in and help fund the research and help us really bring this important meeting to everyone. It will be game-changing. And so on that note, I think, is this it? Is that the last slide? As always, if you guys have any questions, we have a whole team of people here that are at the ready to help. Again, grateful for all of you and the support, and we thank you so much for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing most of you in October, if not before then.